Hi, I'm Charles Purcell. This is the log for Thursday, August 20. Today is day 4, final night tonight of the Democratic National Convention. So our special coverage here, as we're doing all this week, we're going to devote the program to the convention. So we'll talk about yesterday, day 3. This is all about day 3, and I'm calling it the DNC for Lefties. We're going to hold each other's hands through this, fellow lefties. Try to survive. Man. You know what? I'm going to go to my notes here. The DNC for Lefties. Here we go. Okay. You know, we've been really concerned this week about the progressives being left behind. Happened to see Doug Jones, Democratic senator from Alabama, on the TV last night. And he was asked about this, about the rift between the progressives and his wing of the party, which is Doug Jones is about as Republican as you can get and still have a D in front of his name. And he said some very honest things from his point of view. Nope, we're not socialists. They can't pin that on us. And Joe Biden is no socialist. And he went so far as to compare Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders, their wing of the Democratic Party. He compared them to the QAnon wing of the Republicans. He made that equivalency. Well, both parties have their extremes. They have QAnon, and we have socialism. And both extremes are fringe and irrelevant. That's what Doug Jones thinks. That's what we're up against, progressives. That's what we're up against right there. All right, okay. Let's get to it here. Wednesday night at the Democratic National Convention. A more perfect union is their theme, okay. Mostly women. Women dominated the night. Badass women, great women. This was very good. I got to tell you, okay, this first thing I got to tell you, I was really upset yesterday. I was cynical. I was beside myself. Last night was a 180. They did a great job. I think they're listening to the program, obviously. They were listening to the log yesterday. They heard our complaints, and they turned this thing around. They turned it around. Last night was kind of amazing. It was really pretty good. You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see live feedback. They've only got one more night to do this. And I wish somebody had thought of it earlier. I wish I had thought of it earlier because they are listening. Maybe they'll do it tonight. They're listening right now. They'll do it tonight. I'd like to see live feedback from the viewers. You know, on live streams on Facebook, you have the emojis, the likes and the loves and the angry emojis floating up from the bottom right-hand corner. I'd like to see some version of that in the convention presentation. Some kind of method whereby folks can react in real time. Put somebody on for a quick live Zoom reaction or some sort of emoji reaction. Or I'd like to see that. That'd be good. That'd be good. Maybe I bet the Republicans do something like that. They have a real advantage here. They get to watch the whole week and then make little improvements. Yeah, last night they actually got into issues. That was one of our big complaints yesterday, right? It was all about emotion and this sanctifying hero worship, weird maudlin emotion over Joe. Nope, got into it. Gun violence. And not just a quick mention. I mean a nice, big, long segment. Gave some really nice screen time to Emma Gonzalez, March for Our Lives. Her whole We Call BS thing. Excellent, excellent. Gabby Gifford's call to action, very strong. Again, not at all maudlin, not performative. Nope. Sincere, true, raw, excellent. So very happy with that. Then they did a really nice long segment on the climate crisis. And some of these quotes, again, they're sticking with the format, lots of regular people talking, but passionately. And quotes saying things like existential threat, the most pressing issue of our time. No time to wait. In a couple years, it'll be too late. Change the paradigm. Move away from fossil fuels. We need it now. The moment demands it. We can afford nothing else. These are all quotes. These are all verbatim quotes from the video. It was very good. And again, lengthy. Not just lip service. Not just a token mention. Not just tossing a bone. Really putting it up front as an agenda item, as a top issue. This is what we care about. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. All of my criticism from yesterday, none of it applies to last night. They did a 180 and it was much improved. 100% improved. All right, let's kind of go down chronologically here as we're checking out last night's DNC, especially from a lefty perspective. Musician Billie Eilish, nice little performance, although she spoke, and I think that was a mistake. You know, it's a net loss for voters when celebrities talk. Now, I don't mind. I like to hear from them personally. But the shut up and sing thing, like the shut up and dribble for LeBron, I know we don't want to say that, but from a strictly tactical approach, just a pragmatic, strategic way of thinking, it really serves no one. It can only do harm to have celebrities speak their opinions. It's a net loss, I think. Voters don't want to hear them speak. They want to hear them, see them do their thing. So Billie Eilish performed a nice song. I think Billie Eilish is a very fine artist and great. And the other thing that I've mentioned a couple times, you missed the boat, Democrats. As much as I've been praising your presentation, why are your musicians on tape? They should be performing live. You need somebody in your camp who understands the dynamic that I'm talking about. Live performance, live music is powerful. It's just so much more powerful than you seem to appreciate. The difference in impact between a videotape performance and a live performance is night and day. They're in two different worlds. So there's that. All right, next topic coming up, immigration reform. And once again, just like gun violence, climate crisis, not a little token mention. No, a nice, lengthy, substantive segment devoted to immigration reform. Once again, lots of regular folks speaking very effectively. It's the first time of the night we hear President Obama. He narrates a video. Actually, I think they just took that from a previous speech he made. That's what it sounded like. It wasn't a narration recorded for this particular video. I think they built the video around the clip they took from a previous speech regarding immigration. Now, my lefty comrades, my friends, I understand Obama's record on immigration isn't fantastic. DACA was good, yes, but he deported more immigrants than I think any other president, including the Orange Menace. So, at best, a mixed bag. One of the quotes, though, from the Obama narration, immigrants and refugees renew America. That was a nice little addition. I don't know if you caught that. And refugees. Yep. First, it's just a true statement on its face. Immigrants and refugees do renew America. But to my recollection, this is the first time refugees got any mention at all in this convention. And they are people who not only deserve every consideration, because who suffers more than a refugee? Someone escaping war, escaping violence. The world needs to embrace refugees at every border. Not only because it's the right thing to do, but also because they're just damn good citizens to have once you have them. It's a win-win. They get the human dignity and security that every human deserves, and then they make their country better. So there's an issue I'd like to see more spoken about. All right, that was followed by a very nice version of "Stand by Me" by Prince Royce. Very nice version. Some of it sung in English, some in Spanish. Yeah, man, the Democrats, they know what they're doing. They have good taste in music. They put on, again, I wish it would have been live. Should have been live. You know, I don't know who the Republicans are going to have. They're going to have Kid Rock and, I don't know, maybe have Joni and Chachi do a little song, a little duet. That should be good. All right. Oh, speaking of music, another really pretty cool song, "Keep Rising" by Body Talker. That was the bed for the next video coming up, which was this huge montage honoring women activists and leaders. Again, it was outstanding. I can't tell you how great last night was, especially compared to the night before. All of my anger is gone. even from a lefty perspective. No, of course they didn't give us they didn't give us everything we want. Nobody expected that. But yeah, the sins of Tuesday were purged from Wednesday's presentation. All right, now the first big gun of the night, Hillary comes out. Now I'm not even going to complain about Hillary. She has a constituency that expects to hear from her. That's fine. I'm cool with that. She gets into things to vote for rather than just voting against the Orange Menace. Gets into some agenda and policy priorities, also very good. Healthcare, immigration, the pandemic, climate, everything. It was, yeah, good. A nice big emphasis on the importance of voting. She wasn't shy about referencing her own experience, about, thinking you had it in the bag and, oops, we didn't vote. We thought everything was cool. No. And very importantly, when she gets to the part about Joe, because everybody has to do this little testimony to Joe, right? Nothing at all like last night. Completely different than last night. If you heard yesterday's The Log, I just was livid about this ridiculous pandering and bootlicking and hero worshiping and maudlin sentimentality over Joe. Joe is our savior. He's the most wonderful person that God ever created. There was none of that last night. It was completely gone. Yes, there were testimonies. Joe, of course. But all the sentimentality was gone. All of the over-the-top crap was gone last night. They listened to us. I'm going to take full credit for this. I'm going to take full credit. So after Hillary, we get a nice video on Nancy Pelosi. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. Nancy, yes, we are capitalist Pelosi. No, she's not a lefty. I know that. But she is an absolute boss. Don't agree with her on a lot of things, but man, she gets things done. And holy hell, she is a boss in every sense of the word. You gotta give her credit. Fellow lefties, you can't be cynical about every goddamn thing in the world. You can't hate everybody. Stop hating everybody. Yeah, she's a capitalist. Yeah, you can disagree with her about a lot of policy. But give her some damn credit. We're up to about the 1 hour mark here, and there's been absolutely zero of this Joe is perfect crap from last night. Zero maudlin sentimentality for the entire first hour. And as it turned out, for the whole night. Couldn't have been happier about that. All right, sticking with the issues. Now we get into personal testimonies regarding domestic violence and sexual assault. That works for Joe's cause, of course, because of the Violence Against Women's Act in 1994. But again, substantive, raw, just exactly what we were asking for yesterday. Real, true, in your face. What a turnaround from the night before. All right, now it's time for the economy. We move to that. And here's where it gets a little disappointing. Obama's Secretary of Labor comes on and bores us for a while. The requisite video of business owners, restaurateurs, farmers struggling, having to close forever. Yeah, okay, good, fine. Nothing we didn't expect or understand before we went in. Okay, but now here's the disappointing thing. Elizabeth Warren, I was looking forward to her. She has proven over the years that she can be a badass as well. She can just really dump all over the banks and Wall Street, and she can take them to task, and she just comes loaded for bear. Well, for some reason, they tamed her last night. Very disappointing. Although, I loved her little story about Aunt Bee. Aunt Bee? Yeah, she had an Aunt Bee. I didn't know that. I'm sure she's told this story on the stump speech somewhere along the line. I missed it. But her talk last night was almost entirely about childcare. And her own personal story about how her Aunt Bee came to live with her to help with childcare so she could pursue her education and her career. And wound up living with her for 16 years. Aunt Bee, I wonder if she jarred pickles and made apple pie. Opie, Andy. I didn't know the Aunt Bee story. So Elizabeth Warren, fine, she did her thing, but she did not give the banks what for. No mention. Zero. I went back. I thought, did I miss something? I went back and I checked the transcript. Not a peep about the big evil banks and about Wall Street speculation. So, yeah, there's a fail right there. From a progressive perspective, big fail. In the first 3 nights out of the 4, we haven't had one single word about Wall Street and the banks having us for lunch, stealing every penny, screwing us at every opportunity. Yeah, and Elizabeth Warren, of all people, joins the silent chorus of ignoring banks and Wall Street. What was up with that? Another example now of genuine emotion, not maudlin, genuinely moving. They showed the video of Obama surprising Joe Biden with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And I did not remember this, but Joe was standing there behind the president at the podium on other business, and he didn't know this was coming. And when he realized what was happening, he turns, he pulls out his handkerchief, he cries a little bit. It was actually very moving. It was pretty fantastic. So that was a nice little moment. Again, genuine, not contrived, not manipulative. I'm not, when I was complaining about all the emotion yesterday, it's not that I'm an enemy of emotion. No, I'm a fan of emotion. If it's real, if it's raw, if it's genuine, it's this invented maudlin crap that I won't stomach. By the way, speaking of the Medal of Freedom, can we rescind the one that the Orange Menace gave to Rush Limbaugh? Is there a mechanism by which we can rescind a Medal of Freedom, or for that matter, anything else that a president does? I'm hoping that can happen. I don't know if there's a legal way to do that, but put your best minds on that, would you? We need to rescind a couple of things, and that's one right there. That just puts a taint, a really stinky, horrible taint on the Medal of Freedom forever going forward. That monster Rush Limbaugh got one. Yeah, we need to rescind that. Oh, something else. I bet you knew this. I'll bet you knew this, but somehow it got past me. I did not know that Joe's middle name was Robinette. Joseph Robinette Biden, Robinette, Robinette. I didn't know that. How did I miss that along the way? Robinette. All right. All right. So now we get into the real meat of the night, and you just go back and watch this if you missed it. I don't need to go into great detail. This was the big headline. You don't need to hear from me. Barack Obama's speech was kind of amazing. From a lefty perspective, Obama is very much a centrist. But once again, like Pelosi and others, my fellow lefties, you got to give them credit for what they do right. And Barack Obama is the greatest orator of our time without rival. I don't know who you compare him to. The guy can give a speech like nobody can. And I don't know how much of this he wrote himself. Again, I've mentioned a couple times this week, I want to know the writer's credits for this whole thing, because a lot of these speeches are very, very good. This was not only a well-delivered speech from America's greatest orator of the last, 50 years, but the speech itself was perfectly constructed, talking about the basic fundamental requirements of the job of president: decency, empathy, dignity, and then contrasting that to the fundamental flaws of the Orange Menace. I mean, he just eviscerated the current occupant. He just sliced and gutted the guy. You got to take some pleasure in that, but not in a shock jock kind of a way, in a totally controlled and cool presidential Barack Obama kind of way. Yeah, as far as what a president needs to look like and sound like, just put Obama's picture in Webster's dictionary forever next to the word president. You don't have to be a fawning fan of Obama. You can be honest about his record. He failed in many ways. The income inequality gap continued to rise throughout his presidency. He never got us out of Afghanistan. His immigration policy, as we've talked about, was mixed at best. There are a lot of things that did not happen under Barack Obama's presidency, and those of us on the left don't have to be fawning fans. But you got to give him his due. You got to give him his credit. What he does well, he does really well. And last night was the best political speech you've heard since I don't know when. It's the best convention speech since I don't know when. That was the highlight not only of the night, it was the highlight of the convention so far. It was the highlight of the 21st century as far as political speeches go. I am not overstating this. If you missed the Barack Obama speech last night, man, you go watch it. And of course, it gets into the whole kind of letter of reference, right, for Joe. And again, zero sentimentality. The absolute opposite of my complaints from Tuesday night. And then he closes with a really nice call. And he's talking right to us. He's talking to progressives as well as everybody else. But I mean, he's really talking to us about how the other side, about the Orange Menace and the Thuglicans are counting on our cynicism. They're counting on it. We have to take responsibility, progressives. Come on, lefties. We have to take responsibility too. We can't be led around the nose by Russian trolls. Come on. Barack Obama is absolutely right when he said that's how a democracy withers, when we get cynical and opt out. Don't let them take away your power, he said. Don't let them take away your democracy. If you don't have hope for democracy, you don't have hope. We have to maintain hope for democracy. Lefties, progressives. We can't get cynical. We don't have to fawn over all these Democratic leaders. We don't have to join the Democratic Party at all. Yes, they're capitalists. Yes, they're corporatists. But damn it, they're on the spectrum. And they're doing their best, and we have to give them their due. And Barack Obama is absolutely right. We can't give up on democracy. You're going to give up on democracy? Then what's left? What the hell is left? Then all you're left with there is the final scene of A Star Is Born. You drive your motorcycle into a mountain, or you walk into the ocean, or whatever version of A Star Is Born you like. So there you go. There you go. What we do echoes through generations. Another nice quote. Yep. And as he started his political life, when he told us it's about you, it's not about me, it's about you, he closed last night with that. You. That was the beginning of every sentence of the final section. You do this, you do that, you have the power. And he was speaking directly to progressives, and specifically to young activists who, if they get cynical, if they drop away, we're done for. That's just it. We're just done. All right, so that was last night. I guess you noticed I'm not talking about Kamala. You know what? I'm going to give you just a quick line on Kamala. She's not ready for prime time. Yes, she checks all the boxes. The historic first, the first African-American woman, the first Asian American. The people who measure these things tell us that relative to the rest of the Senate, she's progressive. I suppose her voting record is. She's completely unimpressive as a speaker. She's not an orator, especially when she has to follow Obama. That's not really fair. I hope she improves over time, because if she ever has to step into the role of president, that's a skill you have to have. You got to be persuasive. Now, by all accounts, she's a hard worker. She's smart. Again, she checks all the boxes. So I have no problem with her. None at all. As a speaker, as a presentation last night, it was a yawn fest. She's got nothing. So if she needs that skill, I hope she builds it over time. Because if she has to step into the role of president, or if and when, she certainly will run for president at some point, either in 4 years or 8 years, she's got to up her game on the charisma front. She didn't reach me. She has no charisma as far as I could find. So there's my quick take on Kamala. We got time to worry about her later. She had her moment, and I think it's pretty much over. At this point now, it's just the debate, which I think she's going to do really well. I think she's going to have Mike Pence for lunch. So that'll be good. So she has one more moment to really embarrass Mike Pence on the debate stage. That'll be great. Okay? But then that's it. Then that's it for Kamala. Then we don't need to really hear from her anymore, and we won't, and she won't be an issue. I don't think she's going to lose any votes or gain any votes. The debate will be fun. Okay, so that's about it. My final word here, I am really pissed off that they didn't bring this thing to Milwaukee, because they unveiled the set in Wilmington last night, and it looks great. Holy man, if you missed it, check it out tonight. They built a really nice convention stage in Wilmington, in some shopping mall somewhere. And there is absolutely no reason in the world they couldn't have built that same thing in Milwaukee. I mean, it's our convention. It was supposed to be our convention. They could have brought the main players into Milwaukee and did it like the NBA bubble. They could have had Joe and Kamala and Barack and the other couple of big players. They could have brought them all to Milwaukee. They could have built that really nice set at the Wisconsin Center. And most importantly, I could have been there. I had my damn credential, was all set to go. They did it in Wilmington. They could have done it here. Why didn't they do it here? Milwaukee got totally screwed, man. Milwaukee has to get 2024. If they don't give Milwaukee the 2024 convention, not cool. Not cool. All right, so there it is. Night 3 of the convention. If you missed any of it, it's easy to find. Go find it, watch it. Do yourself a favor. If you're not into this, I don't know you. If you're not into this, I just don't know you. And bottom line, I'm a full 180 from yesterday. The difference between Tuesday night and Wednesday night was exactly what we were asking for on yesterday's show. So we have power here on the log. They're listening to us, quite obviously. All right, we'll see how tonight goes, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. I am Charles Purcell. This is The Log. I love you. See ya.